Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending the Operations Committee meeting for Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. As we gather here this afternoon, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of Council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Can I confirm that we have quorum? Okay, thank you. And roll call has been taken, Evelyn?
Yes, and we have quorum. Thanks,
Okay,
Chair.
thank you. Just before we begin, I would like to thank staff. So Richard, Taylor, and Lee for the implementation of our road tour last Thursday, and to Rose for the coordination of the road tour, and especially to Evelyn for all of the coordination and all of the hard work that was done. I think it was interesting and informative for all of us that took part in it, and I think it demonstrated some of the vastness of what Renfrew County is and some of the challenges that our staff, public works staff, deal with on a day-to-day basis, for sure. So thank you very much for that. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof, any of the matters before us this afternoon? Seeing none, can I get a mover and seconder for the adoption of the minutes of the previous meeting held on June 13th and June 28th, 2023 that were attached? Moved by the member from McNabb Braeside, seconded by the member from Laurentian Valley. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that is carried. There's no delegations listed at the time of the agenda being published. We'll move on to the Public Works and Engineering Department report and the department report. Mr. Perkins.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, committee. My section of the report starts on page 2 of your package. So information item 1 is the Treasurer's report. You'll find that attached as Appendix 1. Item 2 is the monthly project status reports. Again, that'll be attached as Appendix 2. Item 3 is the capital program variance report, and that's attached as Appendix 3. Item 4 is the appointment to the Canadian Public Works Association Board of Directors. So I'm very proud to say that the current president of the American Public Works Association, which is the umbrella organization for the Canadian Public Works, has asked if I would accept the position of a president-elect for the 23-24 season, and then become the president in 24-25. So I appreciate the council's support, and of course the CAO, Mr. Kelly's support on this, and all the information is there for you to read through. Item 5 is the courtesy crosswalk on County Road 512, which is actually the Queen Street within the town of Killaloe. So attached as Appendix 4 was a petition from the residents and road users along County Road 512 that was actually submitted to the County of Renfrew. Ms. Davis was the admitter, and since the time of her delivering the petition, we have been working diligently with the town of Killaloe, Haggerty Richards, to solve some problems for them. We have included policy for pedestrian crossings on hiking trails, and the original pedestrian crossing one as well for Operations Committee to review. Since the writing of this, actually, we've been invited to a council meeting. So hopefully we'll be able to provide more clarification and support for the elected down there. Item 6 is the firefighters' green flashing light awareness sign. Item 7 is a resolution that was received from KHR requesting that the county approve the installation of firefighters' green flashing light awareness on a number of areas in the community. If you'll notice from their resolution, it was at no cost to KHR. Unfortunately, there is a cost. So we are going to put together a cost. We do have an in-house sign gentleman that actually works for Mr. Bulldog's team, and we do prepare the signs, and along county roads we certainly will install them, but if they want them somewhere within their municipality, then we will supply the signs at a cost. Item 7 is the community safety zone. KHR again has produced a resolution for in Appendix 8, where they would like to see community safety zones implemented on those roads that I've indicated there. So essentially, it would be where we traveled last week was all along Simpsons Pit Road and basically Round Lake Road from where it meets Highway 60 back to the Foy corridor. So what we'll do is bring this back to our staff and team, and we will provide a recommendation at a future date. So in this situation here, they're not looking for a speed reduction, they're just looking for a community safety zone, which in turn would double speed fines along those sections, if accepted. Item 8 is hardening of shoulders along County Road 58, which is Round Lake Road, and that's attached as Appendix 9, a very complimentary letter from the Round Lake Properties Association. So I took the opportunity to thank Mayor Mayville and the former mayor, Janice Wisniewski, and of course the County Council for approving the hardened shoulders policy and implementing it in these areas. So a complimentary letter from them. Item 9 is the Association of Municipalities Ontario annual conference delegation. So at the May 31st, 23 session of County Council, a resolution was adopted which approved delegation requests for August 20 to 23rd. Thankfully, our request was approved, and we have a delegation with Parliamentary Assistant Armjot Sandhu, and he's with the Ministry of Infrastructure for Tuesday, August 22nd. And our goal here is to discuss funding opportunities for County Road 51, and the warden will be in attendance, as well the Operations Committee Chair, Reeve Doncaster, myself, and CAO Kelly. So we're quite pleased to get an audience with Armjot Sandhu. We've met with him before, so hopefully we'll impose on him again. And with that, I'll leave it for questions, and we'll go to resolutions after. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that. So we'll return to item number 1. Any comments, questions around the Treasurer's report up till June 2023? Item number 2, the monthly project status report, and how we're moving along with all that. Seeing nothing. Item number 3, the capital variance program. Seeing none. Item number 4, the appointment to the Canadian Public Works Association Board of Directors. I'd just like to take this opportunity to congratulate Mr. Perkins. This is certainly an acknowledgement of his capabilities, and it certainly, I think it brings the level of Renfrew County, even higher in this province, in this country. So I congratulate him on that, and just to let him know that he'll have full support of the committee for sure. Anything else? Member from McNabb Braeside.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to echo your comments. I'm very impressed with the level of professionalism shown by Mr. Perkins and his staff in dealing with the various issues that we've had and that other lower tier municipalities have. Wish him all the best. As you mentioned, Renfrew County has a lot of representation from elected officials in Roma and the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus, FCM, AMO, and so on. And it's fantastic to see that our staff are extending their reach of Renfrew County to these organizations. So I just want to congratulate Mr. Perkins and wish him all the best as well. I do have one question. And just what is the relationship between CPWA and the APWA?
Mr. Perkins.
Thank you, Chair, and through you. So the APWA is the American Public Works Association, and that was actually developed first. The CPWA is an umbrella. The APWA is the umbrella for the Canadian Public Works Association, and that was developed in 1983, I believe. Don't quote me, but I think it was 1983 that they developed the Canadian Public Works Association using the APWA as a model. So each province has a chapter. Ontario is very fortunate. Ontario has 2 chapters. One is Ottawa, which is Eastern Ontario, and the other one is, of course, Southern Ontario and Toronto. So with that, the CPWA is a little bit different setup than the American Public Works. The CPWA is all about advocation to provincial and federal governments, whereas in the States, the American Public Works chapters are as they can go by city. So Chicago, for example, has its own American Public Works chapter, but then the state of Iowa also has a chapter. So and then in New York, there's the Metro, and then there's the boroughs, and it's a different setup. But the Canadian Public Works, their primary focus is advocation for public works and engineering and infrastructure in Canada. So our goal is to advocate at the provincial and federal level.
Thank you for that. Anything further on item number 4? Item number 5, the courtesy crosswalk, County Road 512. Item number 6, the firefighters' green flashing light awareness signage. Item number 7, community safety zones. I had a question around this. My understanding previously was that community safety zones were meant for areas around schools or educational institutions. This request certainly wouldn't fit that, so maybe you can enlighten us a little bit?
Yes, thank you, Chair, for the question, and through you. Yeah, that is correct, that the majority of community safety zones in the County of Renfrew have been always for an educational purpose, for Shawwoods, for example, or in the school zone or church zone, for example, which is usually a school zone. Staff will review this request and find out if it does fit within the confines of what a community safety zone is, and we will be back with a recommendation.
Thank you for that. Anything else on item number 7? Item number 8, hardening of shoulders, County Road 58. I think committee is very pleased to take credit for approving this and allowing this to move forward. Anything else on that? Item number 9, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario Annual Conference Delegation. I have the initial briefing package and look forward to meeting with the parliamentary assistant and trying to further access to funding for County Road 51. And then we will move on to resolutions.
Thank you, Chair, and through you, I'll read the recommendation to get it on the floor, and then I'll give you the background. Let's Cemetery Road Assumption, item 10, is within the township of North Algoma, Wilberforce. So the recommendation here is that the Operations Committee recommends that staff undertake the study for road rationalization based on the County of Renfrew corporate policies PW01, roadway classification and design, and PW19, road rationalization, for the assumption of Let's Cemetery Road from the township boundary to Highway 41, township of North Algoma, Wilberforce.
Can I get a mover and seconder for the recommendation? Moved by the member from Arnprior, seconded by the member from Laurentian Valley. Some background?
Yes, thank you, Chair. The background here is short, but it is as attached as Appendix 10 is the resolution from NA, and requesting that the county, they've recently rebuilt the entire road. So what we're going to do is again pull the mechanism for our staff to review this and see if it is eligible as a county road, and then we'll be back with a recommendation at a future date.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Item number 11.
Item 11 is the fire radio system. And the recommendation here is that the Operations Committee recommends that County Council approve the cost of the fire radio dispatch system be split equally in the amount of $21,184.84, taxes included, amongst the following 17 participant user agencies: the towns of Deep River, Laurentian Hills, Petawawa, and Renfrew, the townships of Edmundston, Bromley, Bonnechere Valley, Brudenell, Lindock, and Raglan, Greater Madawaska, Horton, Killaloe, Haggerty, and Richards, Laurentian Valley, Madawaska Valley, McNabb, Braeside, North Algona, Wilberforce, and Whitewater Region, as well as the City of Pembroke and the Algonquins of Pikwakanaw First Nation.
Can I get a mover and seconder for the recommendation? The member, Warden Eamon. And a seconder? Member from Arnprior. Some background, please.
Thank you, Chair, and through you again. So the background here is County Council in May adopted the following resolution to proceed with the purchase of the fire radio system, resolution number OPCC 230559, and that was that the Operations Committee recommends that County Council approve a new radio console system to be purchased from Bearcom in the amount of $318,000 plus taxes, and it was for those communities as well, and that the system be placed into the County of Renfrew's asset management system. So attached as Appendix 6 is a copy of the various cost share opportunities. So what we did was we put together either population-based costing, so when you go through the Excel sheet, you can actually see, obviously, the larger communities will pay more. Call-based costing, so what we did there was we took an average of the calls, and then we put it out that way, and again, you'll see how that all plays out. And then equal cost share was option 3, and option 4 was weighted value assessment share. So thank you to Mr. Foss and Mr. Burke for helping me with that Excel sheet. They were the ones who put together the assessment for us. So the reason that we chose option 3 was given the principle that a fire call is of equivalent importance to each of the 17 user agencies, an equal share model would appear to be most appropriate. And again, like I explained to you, the options for repayment have been discussed. So with that, we'll see where it goes.
All right, I'll open it up for questions or comments. Warden Nemo.
Glad to see it. The system had to be replaced. Somebody has to pay for it, and the users should be paying for it. And we've been as flexible as we can be, but we had to act, and I'm glad to see that it's on the table and proceeding, hopefully.
Thank you for that. Member from McNabb-Braeside.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'm very pleased to see this proceed on behalf of our fire department, is certainly. I just have one question. At one point, we talked about the savings in the county budget. There was, forget the exact number, but somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 to 200,000 over the next number of years in maintenance costs of this archaic system, which will no longer be needed for this system. And I'm just wondering, it doesn't seem that those cost savings were factored into this equation.
I'm going to pass this over to Mr. Perkins.
Thank you, Chair, and through you. We didn't factor in the maintenance cost because unfortunately we don't have a crystal ball. We are confident that our new system shouldn't cost us any more in maintenance, but I couldn't put a number to it, so sorry. There is a potential savings there, but whether or not it occurs, I don't know. So we just figured the cost of the system split equally was easy and attainable, and we have spoken to the CAOs and the treasurers, so there are options for paying over a 3-year period, and we've laid out numerous options for each municipality to pay.
Okay, thank you for that. I would point out that if I believe it was $65,000 a year that was in that maintenance budget, how much of that was for the ambulance dispatch and how much was for the fire dispatch, I'm not sure that they separated that out. Having said that, if that money is not spent, all 17 of us stand to gain from that in some way or another within the operational budget. So whether it's a surplus or, well, I suspect it would be a surplus if we don't spend it. So that'll roll back into capital. So we do see the benefit of the savings of that maintenance at some point anyway. So anything further on anything further on item number 11? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that is carried.
And thank you, Chair. That concludes my section of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. We will now move along to the Capital Works Division, which can be found on page 36. And I will call on Mr. Henrath.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. Item number 1 is an information item. County Road 512, Foymount Road, construction update. On July 13th, 2023, county staff received an email from Bell Canada staff advising that delays in delivery of materials had delayed the relocation of Bell Utilities in the Phase 1 area of County Road 512, Foymount Road reconstruction project. Bell identified a completion timeline of mid-September. However, at that time, road construction had been scheduled to commence on July 17th. Following lengthy discussions with Bell Canada staff as well as the road contractor, a new completion date of August 12th for Bell relocates along the Phase 1 section was established. Bell completed all pole removals for Phase 1 section by August 12th, and Bonisher Excavating Incorporated, the road contractor, commenced construction on Phase 1 on August 14th, yesterday. All utility relocates for the entirety of the project are currently anticipated to be completed by August 18th, the end of the week. And I'll pause there, Chair, before moving on to the resolution items.
Perfect, thank you for that. Any comments or questions? With, not rants, but comments or questions?
Very legitimate question, actually. Is there anything we can do going forward to incentivize Bell to move a little faster? And, you know, I think it's probably time for, you know, us to document with our own operations, but also with the our 17 partners, how many times things have been held up or not gone as smoothly. And either if we can't get a meeting with Bell, then, you know, it might be time to talk to the provincial government about removing their exemption that allows them to just arbitrarily place utility equipment wherever they want to. Because if you look at some of our smaller rural roads, the biggest impediment to making them wider is the fact that Bell is 3 feet, you know, Bell post is 3 feet away from the side of, from the traveled portion of the road, where it should be 20 feet in, but they didn't want to brush it and cleaned it out. So, you know, I think at some point we need to confront this. It's been going on for years, and it's probably time to confront it. So maybe if, you know, if staff have time, they can poll the other municipalities just to check on that issue. And then the secondary issue for me is removing their old poles. It just drives me batty to go down and see a nice set of poles, and then you see the cutoff one
And there's the rent.
because they haven't done it. So, you know, there has to be a timeline or a cost.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you.
Thank you for that, and I think well said around the coordination and, you know, trying to figure out how big of an issue this really is. We know it certainly was in this case, but how often is this happening, and is there coordination that can be done? I would point out that part of the delegation at AMO to the parliamentary assistant does touch on the coordination with utilities in the right-of-ways that we have, so we will be bringing it up with the province at AMO. So I don't know if staff has anything else they want to add?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say thank you to Taylor's team and Rick's team, but also to the warden, Mayor of Bonisher Valley, Mayor Murphy, and of course the CAO. They were directly involved in speeding this process up, so thank you very much for that help.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, if that's the way to get it done, that's the way to get it done, but I'm not sure that we should have to do that. So, okay. And we'll move on to resolutions.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. Item number 2 is a resolution. Request for proposals PWC 2023-36, B181, Peter Blackbridge. And the recommendation is that the Operations Committee approves execution of contract PWC 2023-36 for engineering services for the rehabilitation of county structure B181, Peter Blackbridge, in the Township of Laurentian Valley in the amount of $104,940 plus applicable taxes, as submitted by WSP Canada Incorporated, Ottawa, Ontario, and further that a professional services agreement be executed for the assignment.
Thank you for that. Can I get a mover and seconder for the recommendation? Moved by the member from Laurentian Valley, seconded by the member from McNabb-Braeside. And some background, please.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee, I'll summarize the background that's provided. So a request for proposals was issued under the county's standing offer. As you can see, WSP Canada was not the lowest cost. They were actually the higher cost option of the 4 submissions that were received. However, their proposal did exceed in other factors. They actually had the anticipated number of hours for the work included in their proposal, whereas others seem to be lacking. They included project-specific details, and they were the only proposal that actually dedicated to looking at the 3 design alternatives that the county had requested in their proposal, whereas others were more generalized. And they still come in under budget, as $180,000 was budgeted for this assignment.
Okay, thank you for that. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's carried. And bylaws.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to committee. Item number 3 is a bylaw, County Structure C137, Hanson Creek Culverts. And the recommendation is that the Operations Committee recommends to County Council that a bylaw be adopted authorizing a contribution of $210,244.11 to the Township of McNabb Braeside for the County of Renfrew's portion of road works to be completed over County Structure C137, Hanson Creek Culverts.
Can I have a mover and seconder for the recommendation? Moved by the member from Renfrew, seconded by the member from Arnprior. And the background on?
Thank you, Chair. I'll provide a brief summary of the background that's provided. So the County of Renfrew planned for the replacement of this structure this year. Whenever it came up in our 10-year plan, the Township of McNabb Braeside had approached as they wanted to reconstruct and raise the road over the structure. We entered into an agreement at that time that the County of Renfrew would replace with a longer structure in order to accommodate a higher road. But whenever we undertook the replacement, we would only fill to the current elevation of the road. And following our completion of our works, the township would come in with a road reconstruction project and raise the road over the structure. The County Day Labor Forces undertook the replacement of this structure and completed it just over a week ago. The works included in this part is for paving and guide rail and road structure as part of the road raise, but these are works that we haven't gone forward with in our project so that they can realize a cost savings by being included in McNabb Braeside's portion of it.
Thank you for that. Any comments or questions? Member from Arnprior.
Thank you, Chair. Just a note that there was a letter sent by a couple commending our day crew, and it's comments like these from the county taxpayers that make our job as councillors a lot easier. So I'd like to identify our day crew as Jeff Tomazinski, John Webster, Liam Lever, Aaron Weisenberg, and Jeff Den Hollander. Great job. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for that. For sure, absolutely. So any further comments on County Structure 137? The only thing I would point out is that this project is what the county would have spent on this project. The only thing I would point out is that with the increase in height, it will increase the cost of replacing this structure 25 years from now, whatever that, or whenever it needs to be replaced. So, so the county is taking that on. So, Mr. Henrith.
Just to add, the structure that was placed as an HDPE, the design life for something like this, because of the amount of fill that's going to be over top, is a 75-year replacement.
So I'm never worrying about this then. Thank you for that. Yeah. But it is the county's responsibility. That's fine. So if there's nothing further, I'll call a question. All those in favor? And that is carried. Now we'll move on to the Operations Division report, which can be found on page 41. Mr. Balduc.
Thank you, Chair Doncaster. Under information, item number 1, summer operations. Item A is roadside mowing. The roadside mowing program continues, having cut most of the roadsides once already and following up with a second cut where necessary. Item B is the annual pavement marking program. The contractor Trillium Pavement Marking started on May 15th, and they are anticipated to complete the maintenance portion, the repainting by August 25th. And the capital works line painting will progress as the projects are completed till the end of the season. Item C is maintenance hole and catch basin cleaning. The contractor Clean Water Works Incorporated of Ontario, Ottawa, Ontario, commenced work on June 12th and completed the work on July 13th. Item D is noxious weed control. Our noxious weed control program along county roads commenced on July 12th by the contractor Wagger Corporate Weed Control Incorporated, and those operations are complete. And we did put out notices as per MOE guidelines on the website, local papers, And again, that program is completed for the year. Some good news, Horton Township participated in the weed program, and we also advised roughly 3 or 4 other municipalities on their programs this year as well, sending our package of information to them for consideration. Item E is the Weed Control Inspector. The Office of the Weed Control Inspector fielded calls over the last few months. You can see the chart included in this section of the report. Something of interest is there were 2 orders issued, and they were both to the Ministry of Transportation of Ontario. Further operations, they ask that the orders be sent to them. It's easier for their process to proceed. And another interesting point there is one was by mechanical means, so it was mowed, and the other one was by spraying. So one was on Highway 17, and the other one was on Highway 132, I believe. So item number 2 is annual vehicle safety inspections. And the inspection program continues with the fleet. The goal is to ensure that all the heavy-duty trucks have been inspected and repaired necessary in order, be available for the start of the upcoming winter season. We're progressing well on that, and we anticipate being on time. In addition to the inspection and repair of those vehicles in Public Works, we also have staff that maintains the inspection and repair for the paramedic vehicles. Item number 3 is contract PWO 2023-16, the enclosed cargo trailer. A request for tender for the enclosed cargo trailer was issued during June, and the results are shown in the report. There were 5 tenders submitted. 3 tenders were rejected. They were not in conformance with the tender documents. And this tender was awarded to the low tender, awarded to Stittsville Trailer and Auto Sales Incorporated of Stittsville, Ontario. It was awarded under the authority of the Director of Public Works and Engineering and followed the procurement process GA01. And I'll pause there to address any questions on the information items.
Thank you for that, Mr. Bolduc. We'll move back to item number 1, the summer operations. Item A, roadside mowing. Item B, the annual pavement marking program. Item C, the maintenance hole and catch basin cleaning. Item D, the noxious weed control. Item E, the weed control inspector. It was interesting to hear that the 2 orders were against MTO. I think I can recall in the past it was interesting. I think it was Mr. Davis at the time that was so excited to be able to give an order to the province at the time, and I think it was the first time we had ever done it, and that's why it was so exciting at the time. So, anything else on number E or letter E? Item number 2, the annual vehicle inspections.
Councillor Watt had a question.
Oh,
Sorry.
Okay. Item number 2, the annual vehicle inspection. Item number 3, the enclosed cargo trailer. Okay, and then we'll move on to bylaws.
Thank you, Chair Doncaster. Under bylaws, item number 4 is contract PWO 2023-08, fuel inventory management system. The recommendation that the Operations Committee recommends to County Council that contract PWO 2023-08 as submitted by Triangle Pump Service Limited, Gloucester, Ontario, for a fuel inventory management system in the amount of $194,969 plus applicable taxes be approved, and further that a bylaw be adopted to authorize the execution of the contract.
Thank you for that. Can I get a mover and seconder for the recommendation? Moved by the member from Armpire, seconded by the member from McNabb Braeside. And some background information, please.
Thank you, Chair Doncaster, and through you. The background for this contract is that at this time there are 5 public works patrols, and they have up to 3 fuel types being listed: gasoline, diesel, and dyed diesel. And right now there's a paper system that's not working at its optimum level. So we're proposing the system to control the access, the inventory, and it will eliminate the possibility of cross-fueling, which has happened in a few of the county fleets over the years. And also unauthorized access, improved tracking, and account management as the fuels are billed out to the various departments and divisions in the county. So that'll help the finance department. The tenders that were submitted, there was 4 tenders submitted. We're proposing to award to the lowest tender. And just to run through the ongoing cost for the system, it's fairly low. The first year is free. It's included with the installation of the system. And then the yearly fee going forward for year 1 is $229 for the use of the software. And then the future increases will be based on the consumer price index. And if there's any questions, I'd be pleased to answer them.
Okay, thank you for that. And we can see the financial implications there also. It's slightly higher than what we had budgeted for, but can be allocated through the operations budget. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. So we'll move back to any comments or questions on the report as a whole. I guess, can I have a mover and seconder for the acceptance of the report as a whole? Councillor Warden Emo, and the member from McNabb Braeside. Any comments or questions on the report as a whole? Seeing none, all those in favor? New business. Member from Laurentian Valley? No? Okay. Councillor Warden Emo.
Thank you.
My apologies.
I had the opportunity to do some driving the other day and was on the Calabogie Road and saw some of the widening of the shoulders. Anybody that's driven that road recognizes that some of the shoulders aren't as wide as they could be. So glad to see that and the work starting on it. And so it's nice to see it that it's going to link up to the new pavement with the overpass as well, because that was probably the roughest section, was the section you're working on. So yeah, it was good to see.
Okay, thank you for that. Anything else under new business? Just a brief update, just a notice that I will be bringing a resolution to Deep River Council tomorrow night to hold the Operations Committee and I guess Development and Property committee meetings in Deep River in the month of October. So I'm assuming that would come directly to County Council at the end of this month. So,
I'm worried about snow.
well, that's why I did it in October, not November. So, there's no closed meeting for us today. The date of the next meeting, September 12th. That one I will be attending virtually, so I'm thinking that the vice chair will be running the meeting. If that doesn't work out that way, then we'll have to figure out somebody else to chair the meeting. I will join it virtually, but my understanding is that I can't chair the meeting virtually. So, County Council, Wednesday, August 30th. Anything further? Seeing none, I would motion to adjourn, please. Sorry. The member from McNabb Braeside and seconded by the member from Laurentian Valley. Comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that is carried. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.